we're going to be joined by Jit this week. Jit have been with us for the last 2 weeks. And on the first week, we talked with them about minimum viable security. And we learned how to securely bootstrap your startup first with AWS. And then we looked at practical examples of AWS SSB checklists, which is tailored for startups and how it works. We also looked at well-architected framework as well. And then last week, we built on that previous episode and we talked about DevSecOps, which is really sort of Jit's kind of area of specialization. Without further ado, let's bring on our main guest, David, and we're also joined by Toni. Thanks for joining us today.
Hello.
Hi, both of you.
Toni, do you want to go first and tell us a little bit about yourself?
Sure. Thanks for having me here, and also David for the invite with Jit. I'm Toni de la Fuente. I'm the author of Prowler, the open source security tool for AWS, and I work as a founder and CTO of Prowler and Prowler Pro, which is our platform as well. David?
Cool.
Yeah, and I'm David Melamed, co-founder and CTO at Jit, and super glad to be here again for a third episode. I actually felt like we're just talking a few minutes ago in the episode 2, so now we're back. That's awesome.
It is, yeah. It's awesome to have you back, David. Thank you so much to yourself and Jit for joining us in these 3 parts. It's been really educational all through that. If you have any questions for David and Toni as we're running through the demo today and running through what we're sharing today, please pop them in the chat. We will answer as many questions as we can live, but it's always good to get your feedback as we're going through the shows and things.
Just to kind of recap, as Stuart mentioned previously, we started the first episode with the security journey of a startup, how it's important to start with a defined framework versus like going blind and adding things randomly in terms of security. And so we continued on episode 2 with a concrete example of a serverless application, how you can protect that, especially when we're talking about taking a framework like the OWASP Top 10 serverless. We applied that to our application, and we talked about 2 of the domains, which is the code and the data. And today, in episode 3, we'll actually continue and we'll take our application to cloud, and we'll see what we can do there and completely secure the full environment of your application. And they're kind of missing the big picture, why they're using those tools, what are the risks they're trying to cover. And so once you have a program, once you have a frame around those risks, it's actually obvious what tools you need to use, what products you need to use, and also what blind spot you may have. So that's why we're really preferring this approach.
Yeah, I can see where it's working, especially in kind of changing the pace and the dictation of the relationship between development security teams and the rest of the business, where it's, hey, we don't need to do the thing. This is how we move together in a robust way to end up having a better deliverable and better to let our customers in the future. I love it, man.
The thing is, if you want to take that to the next level and you want to deploy your application, well, there are some changes that I would do in order to make it a little bit more cloud native. For example, the SQLite database doesn't seem like the best way to manage your data. And so if you're deploying your application to AWS, you want to be able to leverage as much as possible services that are built in AWS.
It seems like the more we sit here, the more important this becomes for developers of all shapes and sizes.
But Irene is actually tied back to the discussion we had last week, and that's the balance between velocity and security. The problem is that all those developers, they actually just want their function in the cloud, and they're using Star as a way to get to some velocity to be able to deploy their code. And if there was a simple way to know exactly what are the permissions they really need, they probably will do that. The problem is that there's not really simple way. And so I think that's the when I'm envisioning the future of security, it needs to be really this balance. And when security is actually slowing down deployments to the cloud, at the end, engineers always find a way around to deploy and without proper security. So that's the thing here. We need to always think about how we can simplify security, because developers want to deploy their code in a secure way.
Mm-hmm.
They don't want security to slow them down. Now we are going through the end of our journey. Just a quick recap. So if you want to protect your serverless application, there are two main things that you need to do. One is to take and to start with a security framework. We've reviewed a couple of them: OWASP Service Top 10, SSB if you're a startup, and start with prescriptive controls. And then there is the implementation itself of your security, and you need both to take care of your code. As I said, we take these security plans and we're automating them, picking automatically the best tools for the job, whether it's open source, commercial, or cloud native. Everything is automated and can be enabled by a click of a button. We're actually have a very, very wide range of security capabilities, from the code layer, the pipeline layer, the cloud security, and we're also leveraging a Prowler. Thanks, Toni.
And for the JIT team for joining us 3 consecutive weeks in a row. We've learned some really, really great concepts and best practices around dev, SecOps. Awesome stuff to see. Thank you, David and Toni. Really, really cool today.